Today we are talking about energy conservation and transfer. Our essential standard is I will explain the environmental implications associated with the various methods of obtaining, managing, and using energy resources. What is energy? It is the ability to make things move or change. In our first section, we're going to be looking at energy transformations. Energy changes forms all of the time, but can never be destroyed. The amount before and after a transfer or transformation will always be the same, like we see in a chemical reaction. When a light bulb is lit, the energy released as heat is not useful. It's often called, quote, lost energy. It is not lost, it is just transferred to the air around the bulb. Whenever energy is transformed, some moves into the environment in the form of heat. Just fill your cell phone while it is charging. Now we're going to look at energy resources and their environmental impact. Humans use large amounts of energy to power cars, heat homes, and produce electricity. This energy comes from the environment, which are our surroundings of all living things, and energy in the environment itself. What different types of energy resources do we have? Non-renewable energy resource. It is an energy source that is used faster than it can be replaced, also called an exhaustible resources. Renewable energy resource. It's an energy source that can be replaced as it is used or cannot be used up. Non-renewable energy resources. Most energy in the U.S. comes from fossil fuels, an energy resource that formed over millions of years from the decayed remains of ancient plants and animals. A solid example of this is coal. It is used to power many power plants for electricity. A liquid example of this is petroleum or oil. It is often turned into propane to heat homes. A gas example of this is natural gas, usually found with petroleum. The main advantage of fossil fuels is the large amount of energy they can produce. However, this leads to pollution and the release of unwanted materials into the environment. Extracted is the action of taking out something, especially using effort or force. Examples of these resources are coal, oil, and natural gas. Coal mining can damage land and pollute water supplies. Burning coal causes air pollution, and accidents can damage habitats. Burning fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide into the air. Many scientists believe that the extra CO2 has led to global warming, a trend of rising average temperatures around the world. This term has recently been changed to be called climate change. It is a broader set of changes that go along with global warming, including changes in weather patterns, oceans, ice, snow, and ecosystems. Ozone, an inorganic molecule with the chemical formula O3. It is a major air pollutant in the lower atmosphere, but a beneficial component of the upper atmosphere. It is a pale blue gas with a distinctively pungent smell. Greenhouse effect. It is the heating of the atmosphere owing to the presence of carbon dioxide and other gases. Nuclear energy. This is the energy released during nuclear fission or fusion, especially when used to generate electricity. It's another source of energy used in the U.S. Most use uranium, which is a non renewable resource, and it does not cause air pollution. However, it could release radioactive materials into the environment that could be harmful to living organisms like us. It produces radioactive waste, which needs to be stored for a very long time. Now we're going to be looking at renewable energy resources. Humans have used natural resources for thousands of years. Materials provided by the earth that can be used to make more complex products. Wind, water, and solar are some of those natural resources. Solar energy. processes that use energy from the sun to generate heat or electricity, often used today to heat water in homes. Solar panels can be used to produce electricity also. Photovoltaic cell. It is another name for a solar cell. They collect sunlight that heats the atoms in the cell, and it cannot be used at night. They can combine with solar batteries, which can store the energy collected during the day. A solar reflector reflects and focuses sunlight onto fluid filled pipes. Wind energy, the connective energy of wind, harnessed and redirected to perform a task mechanically or to generate electrical power. It turns the wind turbines, which are structures that have large blades attached to an engine and that is used to produce electricity. Continuing with wind energy, there is no pollution with it, but it does affect local environments and can be noisy for the neighbors. Local birds and bats are often struck by the blades, and many nations are looking offshore to build new wind farms. Hydroelectric, it generating electricity using flowing water to drive a turbine that powers a generator, typically from a reservoir held behind a dam and built on rivers in the US and around the world. Moving water turns the blades to produce electricity. It's very similar to wind energy. Usually, it's near waterfalls or fast moving water. Biomass is any material from living things that can be used as an energy source. Examples include burning wood, fermenting crops like corn for ethanol. A disadvantage is the release of carbon dioxide into the environment. Another disadvantage is the use of food sources for energy when there are people starving. Geothermal energy, it's heat energy inside the earth that can be used to heat buildings and produce electricity. It's usually located over volcanic grounds. Iceland has the largest number. Nearly 90% of all homes in Iceland are heated by geothermal energy. Using and conserving energy resources. Non renewable energy resources are used most worldwide. In the last 50 years, we have doubled the use of fossil fuels to meet the growing world population. These fuels will not last forever. Using energy. In using energy, the more tools and devices we develop, the more energy we will need. Conserving energy. When we're talking about conserving energy, if we look at in the 1950s, we used the same amount of energy we produced. In the 2000s, we used much more energy than we actually produce. And then when we look at conservation, which is very important, is the careful use and management of resources. In today's lesson, we covered energy resources. Does anyone have any questions? Let's review our vocabulary.